enough is enough. And we are here to celebrate that Tsvangirai on Thursday is going to make it. And without fail, we know and we will stand with him.
This is our year. This is the time we've been waiting for. Morgan Tsvangirai is going to win this election.
Some very optimistic views coming there from some of the MDC supporters about the upcoming polls. Well, today we continue our coverage of Zimbabwe's general elections, the first under the country's new constitution. Joining me now here in our Johannesburg studios is Khumbulani Moyo from the MDC faction led by Professor Welshman Ncube. And also joining us from our Cape Town studios is Tsvangirai Muchemwa, who's representing the MDC T. That's the faction led by Morgan, that is Prime Minister Morgan Tsvangirai. Let me start with you, Khumbulani. There's been a lot of criticism that has been placed on your faction of the MDC, and the view is that by not entering into a coalition, that is particularly Professor Welshman, by not entering into a coalition with the other MDC, what you are essentially doing is minimizing the chances of winning in this election, unseating ZANU-PF, but you're also splitting the vote that you would have had together. What's your view on this?
Thank you, Chris, and welcome, Tsvangirai. I think from our side, from the MDC, which is led by Professor Welshman, we've been clear from the beginning that any coalition which needs to take part in terms of us removing the current autocratic leader who is the ZANU-PF and Robert Mugabe, it must be based on principles and values. And after several, I think, the talks which we tried to engage on, and through the split of 2005, we have checked that the foundations of the formation of the MDC, so our colleagues from the MDC T, they've lost the in touch in terms of how the MDC was founded, in terms of the issues which when the MDC was founded, which we stood for. So that has led us to say, at the current juncture, we are able to fight this election, and we are in a position to make sure that we are going to win the election.
But surely then that would mean that you are willing, on the basis of principle, and we'll talk a bit about those principles, essentially lose this election to ZANU-PF, or potentially split the vote between the two MDCs, confusing the voters as they go to these polls, particularly at the presidential level.
Yeah, it's not about the splitting the votes. It's about what the people want, you know. Because now from our own side of the party, we've checked that it's not about the regime. It's about how the country has been run down for the past 3 decades. And we need a new Zimbabwe, and a new Zimbabwe cannot be built in terms of hard feelings of any other party which is contesting, bearing in mind that the Constitution allows everyone to contest an election. So we cannot discard to say, in terms of a grand coalition, that's how we can win an election. We believe from our side, as we entering this election, we are going to make sure that we win. We're not splitting any votes. We're saying people must go out there and vote for their favorite candidate, as we have put our policies and our manifesto is out, and to say this is what we're standing for.
Let's bring in Tsvangirai here. Tsvangirai,
the professor needs to take a step back. He is essentially making himself the moral custodian of the country. And in this election, it is about bringing new change, new values to the political governance of the country. I don't want to engage in a discussion of who can stand on the soapbox and claim to have higher values, or, you know, that is not what the discussion should be about. The discussion should be about working together to present a single candidate in an election, irrespective of our ideologies. And if we talk about our ideologies, he has worked with ZAPU, a man who was in ZANU-PF, a man who has been accused of torturing people when he was the Minister of Home Affairs. So I don't see the consistency in terms of ideology. The president of our party has stated it clear. His door is open. Advances have been made to Welshman Ncube and his party. Let's work together so that we present one candidate and we remove Robert Mugabe.
Now, Tsvangirai, would I be correct in saying that, therefore, you are disappointed in the position that has been adopted by, in particular, Professor Welshman Ngube's faction of the MDC in not entering into a coalition with yourselves?
Indeed. And I can assure you that the population or the citizens of Zimbabwe are very disappointed. They thought at this stage we would be working together, we would have talked these things over and presented a single candidate. The people of Zimbabwe are tired of Robert Mugabe's rule. And now if we say we can't work together because of ideologies, because of values, because their standards have fallen, I mean, is this what we want for the country?
Now, some interesting views there coming across from Tsvangirai. He's indicated that he feels very disappointed. His party feels very let down at the fact that even at this late stage, you have not been able to form this coalition. What then is your party offering?
What we are standing for is the devolution and making sure that we decentralize the power. It goes back to the people. This is what we're standing for. And this is what our colleagues in MDC T, which they are not in for, and this is what ZANU-PF is not in for. So we are saying we're going to be standing for devolution of power and making sure that we start from the grassroots, making sure that industries are built from the local areas.
Why devolve powers? Why is that so important at this stage?
It is very important, Chris, on the basis that if you look at the geographical of Zimbabwe, you'll find out that in the past 30 years or 33 years, there's only one city which has been developed, which is the capital city. The former other cities which have been industrialized, they've been disindustrialized. So which we feel that in order for us to move forward, we need to make sure that the resources of the local people, they are able to work in the local communities and the raw materials are able to assist.
Now having said that, and we understand a bit, I would put it to you or suggest that, is it the position of your faction of the MDC, Ngube, Professor Welshman Ngube's faction, that devolution is important because this really almost gives credibility to the fact that your faction is viewed as an ethnic or regional based party, mainly from Matabeleland, that is driven by grievances from that part of the country?
No, it's not correct that we are a regional party. If you check even in the top leadership, we are a diversified country. We've got the whites, we've got all tribes, the 12 tribes which are there. And if you check in the past government which we've been in, we've managed to make sure that the 12 languages are recognized as equal in the society. And it is for the first time that in Zimbabwe in the past 30 years, where the Minister of Education has managed to make sure that in each region, where they've got their local languages, they write their exams, they practice their local languages. So we're saying that the more the MDC, which is led by the Professor Ngube, comes into power and is given by the support by the people, that is the real change which is going to happen.
I say congratulations in advance, President Morgan Tsvangirai.